What's good, everybody? Relatively Speaking Pod, episode 30, back in your life with special guest, Marin Dugast.
Extra special.
Extra
Got
special.
the special sauce.
Thanks, bro.
The special person.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be on.
Happy to have you back.
You're the
dude.
only person that would come back a second time. So that either says very little about you or very little about us. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I sticked around, bro.
You stuck around.
Yes. And found out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we were just talking before we started shooting about the fact that when Marin came on, that was like his introduction to us. We didn't really know him. We just asked him. We knew he was a gym owner. You hadn't even started.
No, I had started. That's why we did
You were
it.
probably with us
Yeah,
for
but
like
like
a month.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
like a month
About a
in.
month?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's why we got him on?
Mhm.
Okay. So scratch that, but still barely knew him. And I had only, I think, met you like really
At
one
your
time.
birthday.
Yeah.
At
Sarah's birthday.
Sarah's birthday party.
Yeah, at our house.
I
so,
came to your house.
and then
Took
you
a dump
came
in your
on.
toilet.
You came on or after?
No, he,
That was before. This was
Yeah.
a Monday before Wednesday.
yep.
And I say, "What's up, bro? I'm coming on your podcast
Yeah,
on
That's
Wednesday."
Yeah.
Right.
So, and
Yeah,
then
so that would
now,
have been like early February because I did the games
You had long hair at
for
that
the
time.
open or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
long hair.
You had
Yep.
long hair, a mustache.
Yep. Not anymore.
Now you have a goatee.
But dude, yeah, we were just talking about how crazy it is that, you know, doing this podcast and getting guests on. We've mentioned, you know, having Evan on and Galibe and kind of starting friendships with that. But having Marin has really blossomed into to a friendship. There was only two wolves in the wolf pack, and
Because
now
it was just us by ourselves, and then you came, and then
now
it
we have
was
added a third wolf.
the
to
three
wolf
of
pack.
us wandering around the desert looking for strippers
The
So-
wolf pack.
and
dude, I love
Coca-Cola.
it.
So that's been super cool,
Yeah, you're
right? Or is
Yeah,
that just me?
No, it's been good. It's been good.
We're looking for some feedback
you
here,
guys
bro.
are- you guys
Tell
are
us
nice
how
guys.
awesome we are.
You're nice guys. You're both very nice.
Yeah.
No, it's true. We were when I came on, we didn't really know each other.
Yeah.
And then I knew you were a cool dude from afar.
Uh-huh.
And then this guy already had
Infiltrated the ranks.
and so
A spy
same with
among
him.
us.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know who you were.
I was
either.
the Trojan horse.
But yeah, you guys. Well, I was kind of talking with you a little bit about that on before we got live. But Reading is a very weird place to live
For sure.
in terms of it's a great place, but there's a lot of
Transient people.
transient
Yeah.
people transition happening with BSSM school and Bethel, and people come here and then leave and
By transition, you mean people moving.
yeah.
Okay. Just
Well,
need to quantify that
Yeah.
because you never
totally.
know.
Absolutely. No, people moving. So I've had that happen a lot since I've been here. So, and I think it can be challenging to find people you really
Yeah.
connect with and relate on many levels. What you were saying, having, kids are the same age and liking the same things, and our wives likes each other. And so I think we just really
Yeah,
connected
that's
super fast.
that's the biggest thing, dude. Sip and I always talk about that like to have the kids be friends, have the husbands be friends, and have
Yeah.
the wives be friends.
Yeah.
That's like almost impossible. Like it just doesn't work out easily like that, you know?
Yeah. Well, especially when you meet people that don't have kids. But that's what's
sure.
been interesting about us becoming close with Addison also, because he doesn't have kids, but it hasn't been, they're not like, oh my God, you guys have a lot of kids. We don't want to hang out with you.
For sure. But it
that's
even adds
uncommon.
to the dynamic
Yeah,
with Marin that
totally.
like we could like do stuff with Marin that we wouldn't necessarily do with Addison,
For
not
sure.
because we don't want to hang
But
with
because
him,
of the kids.
but because
Yeah,
of the kids. Like,
Totally.
I don't know that Addison wants to just go to Waterworks, although he probably does.
Yeah.
He probably does want to go down those giant slides.
No, it just speaks to that dynamic of most of the time you meet people and it's like what you're saying. There's the wives like each other, the husband's a loser, or
Yeah.
the husband's cool, but the wife's a loser, or
Yeah.
their kids are older, or they have just a tiny little baby. And so it works that you have kids that are in,
Dude.
we all have a kid that's like a similar age, and
Yeah.
that's not common.
Yeah.
let me share this quick story because I'm now remembering this before as we're on this topic, because we haven't ever discussed our like stalker friend that we had in Costa Mesa. I haven't shared this live.
I thought it was here. I got excited. I thought it was here.
So I'm not going to say names or anything, but we met. I took Sunday to the park one day and I met a little girl's grandma. Mm-hmm. Me and her started talking. She said, "Oh, my daughter just had a baby. So I'm taking the kid to the park. Her husband was in real estate. Mom just had a home birth." So we had like a lot of connections. So
she used all the right words.
We somehow like, I think she gave me her number. I don't know, something like that. They lived in our neighborhood. So they connected. She was a really sweet girl. They had 2 kids, our kids' age, but the husband was the weirdest guy I've ever met. The weirdest. They invited us over to the house for dinner. He was so awkward, but like the second we like sat down to eat, he was just like, "So when are we doing this again, guys?" And we were like, "Oh, like, yeah, well, like we'd love to, like whenever." He's like, "No, I'm serious. Like, when, Sip?" And she's like, "Oh, like, oh," and he's like, "Should we do it tomorrow?" And I'm just like, "Okay, dude." Like, and so it's kind of like, oh, he's maybe just like a nice guy, a little awkward, but he then just got so extreme, bro. He would text me like, "Hey, what time are we going to the park today?" And I'm just like, "Oh, like, I'm not." Like,
we're
not. And then he like finally, so this was like happening, and Sip was honestly like uncomfortable. She was like, "He's making me very uncomfortable."
He wants to do swinging
like
stuff.
It seriously seemed like that. And he was so awkward with just the way he interacted with us. It was just like a very uncomfortable situation. And finally I just like told him, I'm like, "Bro," he texted me like an itinerary for like the weekend. Mind you, I've known this guy, we've hung out with him a handful of times, and he's just like, he texts me like, "What's up, bro? Like, what are you doing this weekend?"
Up, bro?
Also, doesn't run. This guy doesn't run, but he knows that I'm a runner. So he's like, "Long run Saturday, barbecue after, pool at my boss's house, hang all day, like blah, blah, blah."
It reminds me of that episode of The Office where Andy's telling Michael what they're going to do. And he's like, "I don't want to do any of that."
Yes. Dude, he fully planned our like weekend. And
I don't think you ever
just
told me
him,
that.
I was like, "Bro, yes, I have. I've told you." I responded and I was like, "Dude,
Why not?
This
You
is
confronted him.
way too much.
We're done.
You're honestly making me and my wife very uncomfortable. Like, you need to take a step back." And he was just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Never saw him again after that, though.
We're done.
It was insane, dude. I can't even, there was more to it. Everyone that I've told the story to is like, he seems like he's on the spectrum. Like, he's he gives off some like autistic vibes. I'm like,
"Oh, he fell in love with you."
I don't,
was
dude, it
gay.
was so weird. It was
You can't say that word on our podcast, bro.
Wait,
We're
what,
LGBTQIA friendly.
But,
Nah.
so that's what I mean. Luckily, you're not like him.
No, dude. I hope I'm not. Dude,
No.
that's
On the
scary.
spectrum or gay?
Both.
Oh.
No, that's scary.
Yeah,
I
it
would
was
freak
very
out.
weird, dude.
That would
Very
be
weird.
I don't think you have a greater capacity for just like cutting things like that off. I don't know that I would have ever texted him. I just would have never responded.
Yeah.
You ignored him.
I would have just ignored him until he
But he
got a
would've-
clue.
No,
Yeah.
I told him, bro. I'm like, "Nah, this is too much, man. You got."
But I think because of how like
back.
close you
Yeah.
guys live to each other and the little like they
Yeah.
would go to the same park, like you
Yeah.
would have seen him.
Yeah, never saw him again.
I feel like I just kind of like ignore people. I ghost them. I just like, I don't want to be friends with them.
Maybe they'll forget about me.
If I don't want to be friends with them, I just don't say hello.
Yeah.
Like I just make eye contact and say nothing.
Yeah, dude. But that's seriously what's crazy is like that we like, not to be super gay, but we did just like hit it off so quickly. We became like instantly, like very close friends.
Yeah.
And I do feel like the working out was like a big component in that. Like that we
For
both
us?
like all three of us have like a big passion for that, and like the dynamic that we had in that helped like bring us together. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, I mean, we've talked about it, but now that you're here, like the fact that you just sent it and went on a 10-mile run with us without like really doing that ever was like, damn, dude, this guy's like legit. Like,
how has it been, to cut you off, but how has it been with like other dudes at the gym? And we can edit this out if it goes to a place that's awkward, but like
it's good.
making friends with people. Cause I felt like when I came into the gym in February, I like was, and I don't connect with people. That's just not I'm not outgoing. I'm not charismatic. I'm not any of those things, but I very
You're
quickly.
cute as shit though.
Oh, Chelsea. Squeeze her after. But like I came in and it was like Hudson saying about the working out thing, like that first partner workout I did with Addison is like instantly we were like, all right, well, we're in the shit together. So we're either going to connect or we're not.
Yeah.
But that was what I wanted to ask you about, being in the position that you are, owning the gym. And like, obviously like you hang out with a lot of these guys like working out, but it doesn't seem like you've connected with a lot of them on a personal level. So I'm just curious why that is. Cause I think some of them are like cool, but I don't think until like I had come in, I don't think you had hung out with Addison outside of the gym.
No, yeah.
And I'm just curious what if that's just you trying to keep like work and like business and pleasure separated, or if it's like a,
no, yeah.
I'm just curious.
I think it probably is that, yeah. Subconsciously, people don't really. I think as you, I'm the coach, you know.
Is it harder to coach people that you feel like you have a relationship with outside of coaching them?
I do it with like Ricky and Trent and those guys. I feel like they were able to. We started hanging out because I think maybe the wives were friends at one point, and so we started hanging out, and then we became friends that way. But I think with guys like Addison, like I didn't realize how good of a dude he was. You know, for me, it's like he comes to my gym. Like first in my head, he's a client. Like he's a guy that I want to train, and I want him to stay at my gym and like my gym.
Sure.
So there's this aspect of like, you know, I want to be a good coach and coach him. Yeah. And so I think it just never got past that point. Mm-hmm. But Addison had just joined the gym. He joined the gym maybe like 2 months before you.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
Yeah, or like 2 or 3 months before you. So he's fairly new at the gym. So I didn't. But there's a lot of guys that I'm not. Close with them, and I think it's all. I think it's also just vibes. Like you can feel someone's vibe. And with Addison, I obviously didn't realize how good of a dude he was. Mm-hmm. I think it's just because.
I think though also it goes back to what we were saying with the people here in Reading. It's kind of similar. It all kind of goes back to people already kind of have their groups. They have their cliques. Sometimes you have a different perception of somebody. You might think like, oh, this guy's so well connected. They don't have time. Like it's kind of hard, especially. So for me moving here, I kind of had to get at least a few friends type thing. If I was stayed back home, we're kind of at the age where it's like, I don't really need friends, more friends. I'm kind of like set in that department where, so for you, when you're in your 30s and you have kids, it's like you might not be actively like trying to gain like new friendships necessarily. And also like we were saying, my perception of you when I would see you from a distance is like, oh, this guy like knows everybody. He's friends with everybody. Yeah. He's so well connected. Like you've been here for a long time. You own a gym, so you know those people. You're connected within Bethel. So like anytime you go to coffee or I'd see you at church or anything like that, you're like, say hi to a million people. So those people might think, but then there isn't necessarily that like deep connection or like that you actually are hanging out with them. And that kind of goes towards what we were saying with, and I hope he doesn't mind. I don't think it's a big deal, but with Galibe, I thought that was like super cool. His kids and wife were out of town and he texted us for 4th of July and like was like, hey dude, what are you guys doing? I'd love to hang out. And Sip and I, and then, we discussed, but we were just like, it was very sweet and very cool that he thought to ask us, where for me and his situation too, like he's the same type of thing. I feel like he has like so many different people we could have texted, and like literally one of our prayers and like we talk about continuously is that we can like make an impact in this community, that we can be people to like bring light here, that we can be like well connected and you know, good friends to people here.
Yeah.
And that he thought to like come to our house. He was great, hung out, like fit in, like it was all super good. And that he thought to text us was super cool.
Sure.
So we were like stoked to hang with him.
Yeah.
And so just going back to, you know, the relationships with other people, I feel like maybe other people too, why he might not have had those friendships. Maybe they were intimidated or thought he already had like his group, or he's just a coach. So maybe they're not, where me and you were like on the outside, like this dude's like, cool. Why are we not like hanging out with him?
Yeah. And that's an interesting thing. Like what you said before, Marin, about the culture here being fairly transient, with people coming and going and moving here for a season at BSSM or coming for a conference, or, you know, for me we're coming up on our 8th year here. It's our 8th summer. We'll have been here 8 years in August. And the first 2 years that I lived here, I didn't have any friends, like no one. Like we made friends with one family, and that exploded and went nuclear very quickly, and that was just whatever. And then I was like, all right, well, fuck this. I'm just gonna, like Hud's saying, like I had 3.5 kids at that point. Like Sarah was pregnant with Apple. I'm like, I don't I don't, and a full-time job, like what am I, friends? Like what? That's stupid.
Yeah.
But then after a couple of years of like, people started to recognize, oh, this like the Holstroms, they live here. Like they're not, they're planted here. So then it was like, that's when I met my buddy Tim. And
I can't remember, was it Sarah that said it or was it Fawn? I remember when we first moved here, so they would say, like they would take the kids to the park and people would ask if you're like own a house.
We won't be friends with you unless you own a house here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this
crazy.
is like a Reading thing.
Yeah.
Like people literally has told us that, which I understand. I think it's a bit weird when you say that to someone, but I understand where they're coming from a little bit. I'm not saying it's right
dude,
or wrong.
it sucks because it's hard. Like one of the best friends that I made in Reading up until you moved here and becoming friends with you just moved.
Yeah.
And that's like, we became very fast friends, went like very deep. Like he was like my go-to guy, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
And that's I don't feel like that's common in other places that you live. Like how many people in Costa Mesa live there and then just move?
No, I have no friends that move.
Right, exactly. And I think that's
the first
People
person to
move
move away
all the time.
and that's like and they don't stay, which is interesting, which I think sucks, because I think,
Which coming back to what you were saying, I think that's why when you came to the gym, you were like, oh, there's tons of guys, but he's not friends with all of them, because it's like I don't want to invest my time.
and that was kind of what I thought
into everybody. Like it's like I'm gonna stay very surface with a lot of people, which that's what you're saying. It's like I know a lot of people. Like if I walk in Evergreen, I can probably like every other table, I'll almost know that person sometimes, or even at church, but I don't know like a lot of people.
Yeah, what's that thing? Known from afar by many, but far from known by any.
Yeah,
you ever heard that?
Is he a poet, my guy?
Yeah. He's a freaking samurai.
No, I didn't make that up. I don't think. I think that's something.
No, but it's real, and I have friend at the gym that I feel like I've invested in.
Yeah.
But when you guys came along, it's like, for me, it was a no-brainer. I was like, these guys are here. They're going to be in Reading. I know they're committed to Reading. So that's a cool thing. I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. But instantly I knew we think the same. We work out, which that can be like, for people that don't understand that, like that can sound like a small thing, but it's not. When you're working out, not just like going to everyday fitness and freaking doing nothing, but like actually like run and
one of the first workouts we did together was
Clovis.
that? Clovis. That's that was insane.
But like you know what someone is about when someone is willing to do that.
Right. Well,
you can know a lot about someone when you put them in a workout and see how they react after 3 rounds of Clovis. I remember actually we were crossing each other. You were going that way, I was going that way. And then it was like third round of Clovis and we were hurting, and you're like, why am I friend with you? Like, but deep down I was like, he likes it.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a psychopath in his head, and you
not a little bit of a psychopath.
but you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. I can't remember if it was which workout it was. It could have been that, but there was a distinct time that I can remember us working out, and it was either a partner workout or something. It was the three of us, or one of the times maybe when me and you were there. But when you say, like, coming from kind of like team environments and playing sports, and then having, you know, Jay and I have been working out for a while, and when there was a moment when we were working out, and like, one, seeing how encouraging you were throughout it, like picking me up, like, come on. One time, like during it, you did like more reps on it than I was supposed to. And just like, and then I remember being like so out of breath, and this is going to sound so gay, but it's so true. We like finished the workout, and like, as we finished it, we like gave each other like a bro hug. And I was just like, dude, that's my guy, dude. Like, he freaking got me through this. We actually like suffered hard together. He was picking me up the whole way. Like, that's like why sports and like camaraderie bring people together so much. Like, having that connection, like your dude is like there for you. Like, let's go. Like, it gets you like fired up. It was so sick. I was like, nice, dude. I know I can count on that guy. Yeah. And then we just continued to like do it. And now Marin's caught the running bug. Yeah. He's super into it now. He even got his own trail shoes, got some new road shoes.
You guys got me trail shoes. Well, this guy got me trail shoes. You got me.
Collectively.
No, yeah, 100%. It's funny because when I was on the podcast the first time, I was like curious about you guys running. Yeah. Very curious. I've ran before. Yeah. Like, before I was doing CrossFit, I would run a lot. So I knew that was you can catch the fever of running. And you like, or the bug or whatever. Yeah. But I didn't realize I was gonna get into it so much this time around, and I definitely am. Yeah. I'm like so fired up about running. Now I can't run because I broke my back. It's spinal. But for real, I hurt my back like a week ago. But
yeah, let's get into that, because on the first time I kind of hit you with some questions about the safety of CrossFit and some of the common misconceptions, and you assured us that it was no big thing. And then now we have a broken back. No, but as I said to you, with anything, and we've talked about, it comes with the territory. But so what kind of happened?
I think that's it. I think that's what pisses me off the most about this whole thing is people that usually the biggest trolls are people that aren't doing anything out there.
For sure.
They're the people that are freaking fat. They have, they have like this belly and small arms and small legs, and they're out here talking about how CrossFit is dangerous, and they aren't going to do CrossFit, or they're not going to do this. I'm like, just, you know nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or they're the bros at Viking Fitness or Planet Fitness saying things they don't even know what they're talking about. It is. It's a real person in Reading. Sorry if you guys get offended. I hope you listen to this.
Viking Fitness? There's a place called Viking
Fitness. Yeah.
You should be their spokesperson,
on Hartnell,
bro.
right?
It's the biggest, it's the biggest bro gym, right? It's like, I have nothing against them, but it's just like the opposite of what I do. Yeah. Right? It's just like girls in their almost non-dress doing like flex and showing their butt, and guys just out there, doing flex
showing
and
their
stuff.
bulge.
Seriously, and they're all on
all the
freaking
things.
growth hormones and
that's
everything.
what I love about your gym is you don't have to have a bulge to go there.
yeah, baby. But to talk about this, like, it's annoying when there's people that are talking that don't know what they're talking about. So I'm trying to not focus on what these people are saying, but I think it just comes with being active. It comes with pushing the limits. I think, like I said, I started running, which I was running quite a lot when, I think I did like 20 miles the week before I hurt my back or something like that, which for me, that's a lot.
That's a good amount.
I went from 0 miles to 20 miles, and I was doing everyday CrossFit, my class, which I think my back just didn't like that. It created extra just tension in there, and probably just my back was like, dude, I need a break.
Yeah.
So I was just doing a normal sandbag squat, and then at the bottom of my squat, just spasm.
That's when it's happened to me too, dude. It's always right at the bottom when you get as low as possible.
Yeah, you're losing tension.
Squat, that's when
you're losing a little bit of
tweaks my
tension.
back.
You lose when you just tight at the bottom, and you're just a little lazy and a little sloppy.
Yeah.
And your back's just.
Well, luckily, you're moving a hell of a lot better today than you were
Yeah.
last week. It seems like you're
It's taking a while.
getting better for sure. But yeah, dude, it kind of, like we're saying, it just kind of is part of it, dude. You can't
is.
work out, especially like you're saying, even with the bro gyms, but like not to be like cocky, but the way we like work out is not, I would say, like an average person.
Yeah.
So we're definitely pushing our bodies
The
very hard and going, like, every time we go to the gym, we're busting ass, and it's like playing, like, well, for you in particular, this is like your job. Like, you're working out very hard. So you can't play football and not get hurt. You can't play soccer and not get hurt. You can't lift and run and do all those things at a high level and not.
I think that's the thing that if there's one thing, I mean, that's the thing. Any sports you play at a pretty high level, you're gonna hurt yourself, and that's, people don't like to hear that. And like, there's a bunch of gurus out there and charlatans online that are gonna be like, you should do this to not get hurt, and this is how you train, but whatever, bro. Like, at the end of the day, it comes with it. If you, like you're saying, you're running, you're doing it, any sports, it comes with the territory of being active and being fit and healthy. And something that Glassman always used to say, the guy that founded CrossFit, is it's better to be dealing with a orthopedic doctor, which is a doctor that deals with like a knee problem or shoulder or back problem, whatever, than having to deal with a cardiologist or having to deal with a chronic disease, diabetes, whatever, You choose which doctor you want to deal with, because you're going to have to deal with one of those. Yeah. It doesn't matter which one, but you're going to have to deal with one of those. And that's what a lot of people don't think about.
And also, just being out of shape, you'll probably end up dealing with both.
You're fat, lazy, not dangerous, man. And that's the other thing. I was talking with your wife at Evergreen just a second ago, and I was like, one of the worst thing was feeling useless.
The hot brunette in the blue dress.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, I felt useless.
Oh yeah.
Like, if someone comes and come after my family right now, or if I'm sitting at a coffee shop and there's this guy coming and being aggressive to my wife or my kids, I felt like, how can I defend them with my back being like this, And so it's something that I don't want to feel ever, like not dangerous, not like useless. Yeah. But it's crazy how many guys out there are useless. And I tell that to people in Reading. I don't care who's listening right now, but you are physically useless.
That is the thing. It's being, and obviously, what are you getting ready for? I don't know. Sorry. Yeah. But it's like,
stay ready.
Stay ready. But it's like, sounds so gnarly to say it like that, but it's the truth. It's like, like when we first started hanging out, and Hudson was like, dude, let's go for a run. And we're talking about doing that Clovis workout. And you're like, let's do it tomorrow. And we're both just like, okay. Yeah. And you're like, let's send it. Yeah. But that's that's such a huge component of it. It's like, and for me now, with like Finn getting older and starting to be more interested in like not challenging me physically, because he's not, but there is that component of like, he's as tall as me almost. Yeah. But we're starting to like take him on runs, and HUD obviously works out with him during the week and has brought him in to teach him how to lift, and he's come to the gym and worked out, and it's been great for him. But for me, that's a big component of it for me now. It's like being able to keep up with him and eventually like push him to a point where he surpasses me, and then I'm keeping up with him. Yeah. That's pretty sick.
Did we say it on the podcast? I can't remember if we have, but it was like, at one point your kid's going to be able to beat you in a race. It's your job to
make sure he doesn't.
Make sure that is postponed as long as possible.
Yeah. 100%. And I think and never never like having like that dynamic on like for myself. For him, it's super important, but also there's that component of like, I'm not a fighter, but I'll fucking kick your ass if you, you know, and it's not a like, oh, I'm stronger than you, or oh, I'm like, I can put you in a chokehold. It's not that. It's like, I'm not useless.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like refining the uselessness out of you, right?
Well, yeah.
Being able,
and
that's
just being a dad, dude, like you have 5 kids. Marin has 2. We have 3.
Yeah.
And like we have Charlie, Penny, Nalu, and Charlie are all the same age. And like, I want them to see me working hard every day. And of course, like providing, there's other things, being tender, being sweet with them, like caring, wanting to jump on the trampoline with them. But I want them to look back at their childhood and see dad woke up early and went on runs. Dad would take me to the gym and he was so strong. Dad used to be able to do 50 pull-ups. Like I want their image of me to be that I'm Superman, you know? And and it's no shade, but a lot of times people don't have that mindset.
Yeah.
They don't care about working out, whatever. They don't care about being strong. They don't care about being fit. And that's fine, to each their own. Me personally, and why we connect and where this is all coming back to, is my mind doesn't work that way. I don't see, we're not on the same wavelength if you don't see the value in that.
Yeah.
And it's just so important. It's just so important to me to have like my kids see that and want that. And like, I just want Charlie to like see me running marathons, and when he's old enough to make decisions, like want to do those. Yeah. Want to go play football, want to do like whatever. And it's not to say that I'm forcing him one way or the other, but I want him to see what I do and respect that. Yeah. And then make his own decisions, and hopefully they're the right ones.
And there's just such a huge like mental benefit to all of it. It's like obviously being in the season that I'm in, like there's a lot of mental like
good transition. I was about to ask you about that.
The thing about working out is like, no, I don't always want to do it. No, I don't want to get up and go for a run. No, I don't want to go to the gym when it's 900 degrees outside and 9,000 degrees inside the gym. And I don't want to, I don't want to do it. Yeah. I don't want to do this. And sometimes I'm like, is it better for me to vocalize that I don't want to do this in front of the kids and then go and do it and come back and have them be able to visibly see that the guy that left isn't the guy that came back.
That's amazing.
And I think that's part of like internalizing things and then being like, nah, it's good for them to see part of it. Not all of it. Cause I think that there's a fine line between oversharing with your kids to the point where it becomes a burden to them. But like Finn now understands the concept of I'm feeling like maxed out, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling like, I'm going to go run up the street. I'm going to go ride that air assault bike. I'm going to go do pull-ups. I'm going to go get in the cold plunge. He is like putting that together. Yeah. And that to me, like learning how to like deal with those things, and it doesn't fix it forever, but it's like, we're through it this time, you know? Yeah. And, that's been what's been really cool with him.
Dude, can you remember being 14 years old and just the emotions that you had in your body? And just like wanting to get that energy out, and just like, I can remember times like feeling like that you like just wanting to like punch walls, and like you just have so much, like you're just bound so tight. Like there's so much. And like, again, getting back to sports, like I played sports all through that. Like you go and you're out on a lacrosse field or out on a football field when after school, after you felt like that and you're getting your ass kicked and a coach is yelling at you and you're getting out aggression. Like it's just so good for boys, especially you know, at his age. It's like, go work out, go get that energy out. Like go do something physical.
I don't think it changes as you age. I think it just we cope with it differently.
That's the word, coping. That's that's the word.
And it's crazy, man. Like even the amount of guys that in the Western world, I said the Western world because I think there's things that some cultures that are more like remote and they don't have as much things. they
To
haven't
distract
lost
them.
that as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
They still have like rituals, and they still have like things they have to do to become a man. Like you still freaking have to run 10K to get your water and come back with that freaking water, you know.
Yeah.
Or the Islander, they have the haka and they have those dances. I think they're still a little bit more in touch with the earth and their bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here it's like
We're for sure not.
everything is like
Yeah.
easy. You
Instant
you're wearing
gratification.
Crocs, bro. Like the
Yeah.
most like simple shoe to slip on, and you don't even have to use your hands to put them on. And then you get your fat ass in a car and you drive to McDonald's to get breakfast. Then you drive to Wendy's. But my point is, I'm so fired up about that. You can probably hear it, but my point is like people have lost touch with their primal animalistic instincts to
sure.
just like get it out there and I think that's the cool thing I like about, you know, getting into a simple gym. It's like my gym is, if you've been, it's simple. There's not much equipment in there.
That's why I love it.
It's a floor
Yeah.
with a couple of rigs and a few equipments here and there, a couple of machines, but that's it, you know, free weights, and there's no mirrors, there's no machines, but it's like, you're going to hurt here.
Yeah.
This is not easy. And that's why people quit. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough business for me because it's not easy. People quit all the time. They're like, I'm going to do this. And then 3 months later, they're gone.
But that's where I feel like if you can figure out how to like tap into like what you're saying with your clients, it's like you can find that thing in people and then help them. Oh, wait a minute. This isn't just about me losing 10 pounds.
Exactly.
That's like an auxiliary benefit to why I'm doing this. And I think that, like what you're talking about and people, why they quit, it's like, cause it fucking sucks.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's like, there's no,
It's hard.
yes. When you like running and being a runner, it's like, you know, you're going to go for a run and the first 3 miles of a 10-mile run are going to suck balls.
Yeah.
But you know, when you finish that run, you're going to feel fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
CrossFit doesn't necessarily have that same like
It's
thing.
different. It's different.
You
every
feel
time.
rewarding, like, oh, sick, I just did that. But sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just for me because I'm new to it. And it's like, we'll go and we'll do these lifts that was workout on Monday that I didn't finish because I couldn't do the squat cleans.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy shit, I have to do 55 of these. And I think I got through 30 of them in the time cap I was done. So I didn't finish it. But it was like, that's mentally defeating.
Yeah.
But it's like, I still fucking did it.
Yeah.
But people don't, that's the thing. It's like, it teaches you how to,
It's so humbling.
like, oh, wait, there's more to this than just like, oh, look at how much weight I can move. It's like, nah, I'm going to do, like you had said, it was so encouraging. You're going to do this workout next year and you're going to crush it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
If
you're
you
right.
get
I
it next
am.
year,
Yeah.
which I know you will.
Yeah.
But that's what I tell people all the time.
Right.
I'm like,
It's
hey,
getting people to commit to
in
that.
a year
Yeah.
from now, you're going to be an animal. That's why I like the open. Remember there was the open last time?
Uh-huh.
It's just a cool way to
Yeah.
remember, like, hey, you were 50,000 this year in the world. You're going to be 25,000
Yeah.
next year. And people don't believe me, but it's for sure going to happen if you stick with it. But that's the real problem.
Yeah.
You have to
don't-
like
people
find
don't
that
stick with
thing
it.
that somebody can, like that motivating thing for someone that is that they're like,
Well,
it's
it's so much even deeper than
Yeah.
working out, as we were talking about. When it's just the instant gratification. It's
Yeah.
people can't
Dude,
commit.
that's
Yeah.
it. The instant gratification
Yeah.
is the biggest problem right now.
We just are.
For me too.
People are just, and you know, I've talked about it. Like I have an issue with men in society today, like not committing to women and not wanting to be married and, you know, dating
it's the same
somebody for
problem.
7 years. It's like, dude, why are you not married?
Marry
Right.
that woman.
Why
yeah.
are you not having children? Like,
Right.
like what are you waiting for, dude?
Yeah.
Like I can't, same thing. So it's like, you can't commit to this one person. You can't commit to this job. You can't commit. Like, of course you're not going to commit to busting your ass every day, sweating in a gym, getting your ass kicked, like being a beginner, not knowing, you
Right.
know, it's like, of course you're not going to commit to that because you don't commit to anything in your life.
Yeah.
And that's where we are in society. It's, you can just order Uber Eats. You can just turn on Netflix. You can just, like, you don't have to work for anything.
What's
And
that
people
thing
don't understand
that-
what
No,
it's
it's
like
so
to
true.
do.
keeping is like keeping promises to yourself is the thing that builds self-worth. Have you guys heard about this? Self-trust.
Yeah.
Sorry. I keep hitting that thing.
Yeah.
It's like if you say I'm going to go do this and then you don't do it, you're like, oh, well, you know.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. But it's what you're saying is 100%. That's it. It's like, it's wild because a lot of times it's an evolution. It's not like it's not a solution. It's an evolution. It's like, well, I'm going to be better at this today than I was yesterday. And I'm going to suck at this more today than I do tomorrow kind of thing. And that's hard to accept that. But I mean, it creates this like mental resilience to be able to stick with something long-term that, if my kids learn nothing else, it's that. It's like, it's not sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
It isn't. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're working out or you're running a business or you're married or you're raising kids or you're whatever, it's like, sometimes it just sucks.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, we were talking about that a little bit, like the fantasy, what people think, fantasizing over, let's say, running a business or working out or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, at the end of the day, most things is success happens when you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah. And it's boring and it's painful sometimes. It's not comfortable. And if you can just fall in love with the pain a little bit, fall in love with the monotony of just doing the same freaking thing over and over again, you're gonna be successful. Or what does it even mean successful? But like you're gonna get better at whatever you want to get better at. Yeah. Which I think that's a better way to say it, right? So if you want to get better at you want to get better at working out, you gotta freaking show up to the gym. Doesn't matter, or you gotta go run. Doesn't matter if you want to or not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right. And
nobody cares, like Cameron Haynes thing.
Nobody cares, work harder.
Train harder, work harder. Yep. It's kind of brutal, but it's freaking true. Nobody is clapping you at the exit of your house. Good job, brother. When I go, you come to my 2 p.m. sessions, but my 2 p.m. session is me and me alone in that freaking gym. And I show up. To be honest, most of the times I put worship music on there because it makes me feel like it's not just me. It's like I have this connection also with God sometimes in there, and I just work. Yeah. And that's it. And I try to not take videos too much of those sessions or brag too much about those sessions, because I feel like they're sessions that are supposed to be, just me. You have in the secret.
Well, that's what's funny too. It's like same, people post everything, and I usually I post one run a week or something like that. And I do that because I've kind of gotten a little bit of a community on there of people that have followed me through running or friends that run. And so we'll DM back and forth on a run. And that's one of 5 sessions, and nobody sees the other ones. You just get up and you just do it. And going back to, remember when we watched that, the UFC card when Volkanovski beat Diego Lopez here, and he got on the mic after and he said, adversity is a privilege. Yeah. And that was epic.
The sickest transition of all time, because the thought that I said about the mental struggle, or like having the mental battle, it's having like the ability to get up and go for a long run or go do a hard session in the gym. It's like, that's a privilege to have that. Yeah. If I didn't work for the last however many years on being able to run or lift or do whatever, it's like, I wouldn't have that mental outlet. I don't even want to think about
where you'd be,
what that would feel like. Yeah. So that was and you just closed the loop on that thought with adversity is a privilege, because if you're not in a position where you have an outlet, like I need to go for a 10-mile run, you don't have an outlet. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
100%.
And that was what I wanted to say long way around. It's like, you don't take that for granted. Like, and I know you're kind of feeling that now with your back hurting and just the mental place that you go. And, obviously you're, thank God, really, getting better, but it's just, No,
it really comes back to, it's, people might not understand that, but it's like you get to work out. Like it's an actual freaking privilege. And to get to that point of being grateful to be able to work out and find that like place of pain. And it's such a privilege. I'm like itching so hard to go train right now. I mean, I'm still doing stuff like,
that's what I told you.
When you get it taken away, it's like your mind, you're just like,
that's what I told you. It's like the workouts you've done injured the last 2 days is more than most people do. You know?
Yeah.
And it's so sad, but it's also like, dude, if you like getting.
What did I say after that? I was like, I hate that you just said that to me.
Yeah.
I just hate the idea of just being average.
I know.
Like,
but it's not even about being, it's,
no, I know what you mean.
You're like, and I don't know if I've had this thought or we've talked about it, whatever, it doesn't matter, but it's just this idea of, it's not a small thing that you get up every single day at the same time and do this pretty much the same trail run, you know, 35, 40 miles a week, whatever you're doing. And it's like average for you is not average for somebody else, right? And then it's like the same thing for you and for me. It's like it's everybody, your version of average or your baseline is different. But then when you think when it like gets taken away, you know, like when you hurt your hamstring, it's like
it's so humbling.
You know, and it just is. It's when people turn it into what you were saying about that gym, it's like, it's not about showing off your ass in Lululemon pants or wearing a cutoff t-shirt and showing off your muscles. Like, that's cool, bro. But those muscles are for show. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
You might be able to squash me if you can catch me, but you ain't going to catch me. You know what? And it's just, I don't know. It's just such a weird thing when you think about, I would love to, if we could find a psychologist, like an exercise psychologist, like that lady you sent us the clips of. If we could talk to somebody like that and just get into all the science behind the way your brain works when you put it through, like you put your central nervous system through. It's fascinating to think about what your, like the point I was making about like average or what your baseline is, at how your mind is just, no, that's not good enough. I have to do more. Well, who says? I say. You know, why isn't that good enough? Well, it's because it's not.
There's definitely.
There's obviously a give and a take there. That's bad, but that can be bad. But coping.
Yeah, there's a lot of coping coming with all of that. But I'd rather having that coping mechanism than eating McDonald's. You know what I mean? If me working out is a bit of a coping, which probably is 100%. But I'd rather 100%. Have that.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, then like I said, eating McDonald's.
I just love it though, dude. It's just so fun. I just, fun, for me, it really is. I totally get that it can suck, but I just can't picture life like not doing it.
For sure.
You know, like and not even for the benefits, but like to me, I'm like, dude, what would I do if I just like didn't work out? Like, I mean, I guess you could fill it with something else, like if you liked like
board games,
playing video games or like something like that. But I'm just like, dude, to me, like going and like doing pull-ups and stuff, like, yes, there's parts that like in particular with you, Jay, like because you've been doing CrossFit more than I have, there's certain movements that you're not comfortable with. And sometimes like learning it can be like annoying and it's a little bit more complicated than what you're used to. So that's not as like fun, quote unquote. But still, at the end of the day, it's fun to throw some weight around. It's fun to go on a run. Like, it's fun to be outside and be like, see the views that we see when we go on a trail, or just like run by people and have a smile on your face and say hello. Like, it's awesome to be able to do that. It really is. And that's our TED Talk for the day.
I was just thinking of this because I swore a lot on this episode so far. I was just thinking about the bleeps I'm going to have to do, but it reminds me on driving into town today, I ran out of gas, which is happening very often because both my gas gauges are broken in the truck. So I have no idea how much gas I have. And one of my tanks leaks. One of my tanks leaks, so I don't put gas in the second tank because it ends up on the ground, and I'm not trying to just
2 tanks.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So we only have one of the tanks.
One of the tanks I'm putting gas in because the other one leaks, and I don't like throwing money away, so I don't put gas in it. So I have 3 gas cans in my truck currently. One of them is going to you, but none of them had gas in it
Really?
because I ran out of gas on Monday driving to the gym.
What does it feel like when you run out of gas?
The truck sputters, and the first time it happens, because it's happened to me so many times, I'm like, oh shit, I'm
Yeah.
gonna run out of gas. Anyway, run out of gas coming here, but Sarah she's driving behind me because we were coming down at the same time, and she says, she always says truck, but she doesn't pronounce the T. Her T is an F.
Fuck.
So
Hold on, you
No,
mean Penny?
Penny.
I'm sorry,
I was
Penny.
like, what?
I was
Yeah.
like,
Sarah?
Sarah has a
Okay.
stutter.
Sarah
bro?
texts me that Penny says to her, Dad has such a pretty truck.
Yeah.
But she doesn't say it that way.
Yeah.
She says, Dad's is so beautiful. Because she doesn't pronounce the T or the R. She says F because she slurs because she always talks with the passy in her mouth.
Yes.
So it was just funny to me. I was like,
She has, yes, the cutest
The-
lisp
the-
ever.
Dude, Penny's lisp is the best. Dude.
but then I asked Sarah, I was like, Penny thinks Dad's is beautiful. Do you think Dad's is beautiful?
Gave you 5 kids, so
Hey,
that's
yo.
pretty beautiful.
But yeah, running out of gas is not fun.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel like that's a good ending point there. I was
you before you end the episodes, you guys are really good dudes. I genuinely have loved getting to know you guys, and yeah, I just wanted to say it publicly.
yeah.
Come work out at Lyft.
Sure, come work out if you can take it.
Yeah.
Don't come if you're gonna quit after 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But-
or Hudson's going to kick your ass.
But-
Hudson's the enforcer.
Nice.
But
nice.
for real, you
Send
guys
the small
are,
guy.
You guys are awesome, and I'm very grateful to be friends with you guys. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's been, like we said, it's been pretty seamless, dude. We transitioned right into a 3-pack of wolves, and we're out here hunting, and yeah, it's been great. But thank you guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe, follow, come work out with us, come get a run in with us.
Did we say it was episode 30?
Yeah, episode 30, big one. We encourage you to get this work, and this will be out on Friday. So enjoy your weekend.
Peace.
See you next week.
Peace.
Bye.